I've recorded myself and I can't stand me. Can I get any lower? Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay. Due to a minor delay, we are starting this meeting at 5:03. Okay, welcome to the hybrid in-person and virtual meeting for the Committee of Adjustment for the Township of Central Frontenac. Members of the public may join in person or virtually. For those of you who may be new to the Committee of Adjustment, my name is Bill Everett, and I am the chair of the committee. We also have committee members from my left, Dan Meeks, Susan Irwin, Philip Smith, Nikki Dowdy. From my left, my other left, Duncan McGregor, Lynn Clagus, and Cindy Kelsey. Chris Nelson, planning staff from the municipality. To my right, Abigail McKinnon. And at the end of the table from the county, Jenny Capusta. Chris Nelson, our community service coordinator, will be assisting us as the meeting host. The format of the meeting will follow the agenda posted online. Staff have prepared a presentation to follow along with during the meeting. This will be shown on the screen. For each application with a public hearing, we will follow this format. I, as the chair, will introduce the files so that everyone knows where we are on the agenda. The planner will provide an overview of the application. We will then ask, are there any comments from the applicant or their agent? Committee members may then ask staff and the applicant or their agents questions, if any. The public will then have the opportunity to ask questions or provide comments. I encourage you to ask any questions you may have. The committee will then deliberate and vote on the application. Voting will take place with the members of the committee raising their hands or verbal confirmation if attending online. I will then state whether the vote carried. All members of the public will have an opportunity to provide comments on the new applications. Please note that as of January 1st, 2023, only persons specified in the Act are permitted to appeal consent and minor variance applications. Township staff will be in touch following the meeting and will forward a copy of the decision within 15 days to the applicant and anyone who has requested to be notified. Should you have any questions after the meeting, we encourage you to reach out to staff. The applicant, the minister, or any prescribed public body with an interest in the matter may appeal the committee's decision to the Ontario Land Tribunal within 20 days of the decision or notice date by submitting an appeal through the e-file portal. Details of the e-file system are provided in the notice of decision. I will now ask Chris Nelson to provide an overview of how members attending virtually can participate.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Once the meeting is open to the public, the chair will ask if anyone has any questions or comments. Members of the public attending virtually will be asked to use the raise hand feature at the bottom of your screen. This alerts us that you would like to speak. Staff will then notify the chair that someone would like to speak and then proceed to unmute your microphone. You'll receive a notification that your microphone has been unmuted. Please wait a second after unmuting your microphone before speaking. If you're calling in by phone, please dial *9 when you would like to raise your hand during the meeting. You will hear a prompt on the phone that you have raised your hand, and you will be notified when your microphone has been unmuted. This afternoon, it looks as though we have 2 members of the public participating with us online and 3 in person.
In the unlikely event we have connection issues and the meeting cannot be restored within 15 minutes, the meeting will be postponed and staff will be in touch with each applicant. A notice will also be posted on the township social media letting you know. Okay. Moved by Philip Smith, seconded by Susan Irwin, the agenda of October 14th, 2025. Are there any amendments or?
Yes, there are. I made an amendment to the minutes attachment. There was just some duplication in there.
Are there any disclosure? All those in favor? Carried. Are there any disclosure of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof? Seeing none. Moved by Dan Meeks, seconded by Philip Smith, the approval of the minutes from August 12th, 2025. And you,
Yes, I amended the minutes.
all those in favor? Carried. Are there any deferred items?
No, there is not.
Okay, are there any applications for consent?
No, there is not.
Okay, applications for minor variance, application 2025-0038, cartilage. Ms. Kapusta, if you would, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You can see here both on the screen in the chambers here and online, presentation as noted. So this application is for a property located at 1087B Simmons Lane. And the proposal is to construct a screen porch addition to an existing dwelling. Here on the screen, you can see outlined in black the existing dwelling and attached covered deck sunroom area. The proposed addition is the top of the picture, outlined in red and labeled with proposed addition. The addition is proposed to be 88 square feet in area, or about 8.2 square meters, and will further encroach towards the high water mark of Sharbet Lake by 2.43 meters, or 8 feet. That's because the addition is 8 feet wide. This addition is intended to accommodate an outdoor dining area that is free from bugs and other pests who like to share your meals. Here on the next slide, on the left side, is an overview of the property showing the existing dwelling and screen porch, with the proposed addition shown as the small red box towards the water side of the property. On the right side of the screen is a view of the existing covered screen porch area. As you can see, it's 6 feet wide or so, which makes it fairly tight to have table, chairs, people, things in there. So that, as I said, the intention is to add a portion in the middle that's large enough to accommodate this additional area. Here on the next one, the sketch at the top outlines again where the addition is proposed and the intention to continue on with the similar decking area for the flooring of it. And the photo on here shows the existing screen porch as seen really from between the water and the property. The two center windows on that photo are where the addition will be, as you can see by the sketch at the top, and it will just come out in that area. There's very little existing vegetation. In fact, you can see the drip line there where the existing cottage roof runoff is. That's only noted because that is something that the conservation pointed out. So one of the recommendations that they had was that through this addition and construction, that eaves troughs be installed that direct that runoff back and away from the lake rather than down onto the slope that leads down towards the lake. As I noted, this application was circulated for review by Rideau Valley Conservation Authority. They provided comments dated August 24th of this year with no objections to the application as submitted. Based on their review, there's no natural hazard concerns identified for the property. And as I noted, one of the items they pointed out was that really the roof runoff should be directed away from the lake, and that there's no existing eaves troughs or downspouts on any portion of the cottage. So it was their recommendation, even if just on the part of the roof that slopes down towards the lake, that eaves troughs are added and the runoff is directed away to help reduce any erosion potential. There was no increase in living space, and the construction is not proposed near any of the existing septic system components. So there was no septic performance review required for this application. There were no public comments received regarding this application, and planning staff are recommending that, subject to any comments or items raised at this meeting, that the committee approve the application as submitted and subject to the conditions listed in the planning report.
Thank you. Are there any comments from the applicant or their agent, either in person or online?
Please use the raise hand
Yeah.
feature.
The extension. The plan is to then look at getting a sunroof built on top of it.
An enclosed dining area. Yes, yes.
It's kind of obvious, but
Hmm.
in terms of the diagrams, just showing the extension of the floor space.
Yeah.
And there'll be some room.
Okay. I take it you are the applicant? Thank you. No comments online?
Seeing none.
Thank you. Do any of the committee members have any comments or questions? I'm seeing none. Moved by Nikki Gowdy, seconded by Duncan McGregor, that minor variance application 20250038 cartilage for concession 3 part lot 19 RP 13R1557 part 2 geographic township of Hinchinbrook 1087B Simmons Lane, Township of Central Frontenac, be approved for the purpose of constructing a screen porch addition with an area of 8.2 square meters or 88 square feet, and will extend 2.43 meters or 8 feet further towards the high water mark of Elbow Lake than the existing screen porch, for a minimum water body setback of 23 meters or 75.5 feet. And that the effect of the application is to permit a variance from section 5.6.2 and 4.26.5A of the zoning bylaw 2011-52 as amended to allow the development. And further, that the Secretary Treasurer shall issue the notice of decision in accordance with the requirements of the Planning Act, including providing the notice of decision to the applicant, any person or public body that made a written request to be notified, and any other person or public body prescribed. All those in favor? Carried. Moving on, application 20250039 Durant, Daymark Design. Ms. Capusta, if you would.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This application is for a property that is a water access property on Eagle Lake. Municipal address is 26786 Eagle Lake. But again, it is a water access property. The proposal here is to demolish, reconstruct, and enlarge an existing dwelling located on the property. Here in the image on the screen, the yellow area within the diagram of the cottage is the area that shows the existing footprint. And then you can see there's added space around that, and that's the extra footprint where the extensions will be. Planning staff would like to note that none of the extensions go towards the lake. They're all towards the rear and the side of the subject property. The increase in footprint compared to the existing dwelling will be 33.37 square meters, or about 360 square feet. There will be a slight encroachment towards the high water mark of Eagle Lake of 1 foot. And this is just due to the orientation of the cottage and the amount of overhang that's going to be on it. Essentially, the intent was to use the footprint and then go back and away, but just construction wise, using that, the overhang's a little bit bigger than it is now, so it's just a little bit closer technically, but really not a whole lot. The applicant has also indicated they'll be installing a new class 4 sewage system, approximately 45 meters from the high water mark of Eagle Lake, shown on the sketches. That is the, it's shown in green dashed outline. You can see the tank and the leaching bed, and that will be well away from Eagle Lake, which is especially important considering Eagle Lake is considered an at capacity lake trout lake. And one of the main concerns is phosphorus infiltration from older and non-functioning septic systems. While planning staff were not able to visit the site directly, as it is a water access and there's some challenges getting there. Township doesn't necessarily have its own boat. We can borrow it from fire sometimes. The applicants were excellent in providing some detailed site photos to give both planning staff and the committee a good idea of what the property looks like currently. So you can see that the existing cottage, between the cottage and the water, is mostly rock with limited, if any, vegetation. It's a lot of pine needles, similar to a lot of the shoreline. The lower photo, which is a panorama, you can see what the shoreline looks like, how far the cottage is, and the additions will all be towards the rear of that. Here on the next slide, the photo on the left is the rear of the existing cottage. This is the area where the addition will take place in coming towards the camera angle from that. Again, the photo on the right is just another closer up of what the shoreline looks like between the existing cottage and Eagle Lake. Just again, more photos just to give further clarification and understanding of what it looks like. The one on the right here, where the trees are in that area, that's where the addition will take place, is extending towards those trees. There's a small storage shed to the left part of that photo. That's where the cottage will extend out that side to have an attached covered storage area. Really, it's just taking what they have, consolidating and make it into one more unified structure while allowing the same storage and area. So this application was circulated for review by Rideau Valley Conservation Authority. They indicated no objections to the application as submitted. Again, there's no mapped natural hazards located on the property or any slips or anything like that that were of concern for a natural hazards perspective. The location of the cottage is within the RVCA regulated area, so within 50 feet or 15 meters of the high water mark, and therefore the applicants will require a permit from the Conservation Authority prior to any demolition or construction or issuance of township building permits. As noted, a new Class 4 sewage system is going to be installed on the site, approximately 45 meters from the lake, and this location was confirmed by the septic installer who's going to do that, which is Peter Netto. There were no public comments received regarding this application. Based on the information provided in reviews, planning staff are recommending approval of this application as submitted, subject to conditions in the planning report. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the applicant or their agent in person? Online?
Yep, I'm seeing one online. Okay, Mr. Morton, you can unmute your microphone.
Hello, committee. My name is Adrian Wharton. I am the agent on behalf of the owners. I am the principal architect at Daymark Design. So I would have loved to have shown you some. Is everything okay?
Okay, try again.
Good afternoon, committee. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay, let's try this again. I am Adrian
Comments or
Wharton.
questions, sir?
So I have a comment. I am Adrian Wharton from Daymark Design. I'm acting as the agent on behalf of the owner.
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you just fine.
Okay.
Is there an ability to show you additional images or not?
Yeah, if you can share your screen if you'd like. If that's something you want to do.
I actually don't think there's an option available here in the
Okay, one moment.
Zoom workplace. Yeah.
Are those going to optimize what you've already shown in the package?
You might have to unmute your microphone again.
Okay, you're muted again.
How's that?
That's good.
Okay. I just wanted to give you some additional context. So the intent is to provide a modest single-story cottage. I thought the planning staff did an excellent job describing the intent from a site plan perspective, but I also wanted to give you a quick overview from the planning perspective, just so you have an idea of what you're looking at. So effectively, it's a single-story cottage, small internal contents, kitchen, 2-bedroom. Again, staying within the footprint, simple single sloped roof with gable ends. I did include some elevations in the submission application so you can have a sense of what the overall architectural image is going to be. So again, it's a fairly modest building, staying in line with the existing topography and what is currently there now, just modernizing a little bit. So there are elevations that were submitted with the application, but I just thought if I had the chance to share, it'd be great to show the committee actual images of what this can look from a rendering perspective. So I just wanted to really quickly walk you through the exterior elevations. So this is the side that would face the water. This is the side with the covered storage area under a flat roof. The main cottage has again, gabled single slope roof over it. This is a side elevation. This is the side facing away from the water. So this is what will push outside of the existing footprint and away from the water. And then this is the opposing elevation. So again, I just wanted to really quickly walk you through that because it's wonderful to give the Committee of Adjustment the opportunity to see what this thing is actually going to look like in order to have a better course of action in making your decision. Without that, I don't have any additional comments.
Thank you. A lot of effort put into that.
That's
Are there
fine.
any
This
questions?
is my job.
Are there any questions or comments from the committee? Are there any public online or in person?
Please use the raise hand feature if you'd like to speak. I'm seeing none.
In that case, moved by Cindy Kelsey, seconded by Lynn Clagus, that minor variance application 20250039 Durant, Daymark Design for concession 2, part lot 25 RP 13R45445, part 10, 11, 12, geographic township of Hinchinbrook, township of Central Frontenac be approved to allow for the removal and reconstruction of enlarged single-story dwelling with a total footprint of 119.17 square meters or 1,283 square feet and a minimum water body setback of 12.38 meters or 40.6 feet to the high water mark of Eagle Lake. And that the effect of the application is to permit a variance from section 5.6.2 and 4.26.5A of the zoning bylaw 2011-52 as amended to allow the development. And further, that the Secretary Treasurer shall issue the notice of decision in accordance with the requirements of the Planning Act, including providing the notice of decision to the applicant, any person or public body that made a written request to be notified, and any other person or public body prescribed. All those in favor? Carried. Application 20250042, Rod Milne. Moved by Susan Irwin, seconded by Duncan McGregor, that minor variance application 20250042, Rod Milne, for concession 2, part lot 8, part road allowance RP 13R19073, part 2, Charbot Lake, 1058B Antoine Road, geographic township of Oso, township of Central Frontenac, be approved to allow. Can we do this one again?
Jenny.
Ms. Kapusta.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As you noted, this is for an application for property located at 1058B Antoine Road. So this is the end of Antoine Road and is a peninsula that extends into the east basin of Charbot Lake. Here on the screen, you can see the existing dwelling is highlighted and the proposed addition is shown with the yellow hatching. The intent is to construct a screen porch addition to the existing dwelling. The addition will have an area of approximately 14.2 square meters, or just under 155 square feet, with a 1 meter or 3.3 foot further encroachment towards Charbot Lake. In this case, there is a portion of roof over part of where the addition is proposed. So on the left, here's a photo. You can see that currently there's a stone barbecue area and patio. The area for the addition is outlined in red. So there is some roof over it currently that will be removed and then reconfigured to more meet the roof line of the rest of the cottage that this will line up with ultimately. On the right hand side, you can see there's a sketch with a layout showing the interior of the existing cottage, and the area proposed for the addition again is outlined in yellow on that right hand side, just to give an idea of what is proposed. As you could see in the previous image and these, this is just some areas of the existing shoreline between the cottage and the lake. The area proposed for the addition is already used as a stone patio, so there's no vegetation removal required there. And there's limited vegetation really between the cottage and the lake. It's a lot of that stone patio and some along the shoreline. None of that will be required to be removed or altered to facilitate this addition. It'll be entirely constructed where there's already that stone patio area. This application was circulated for review by Conservation Authority. Mississippi Valley had no objections to the application. Again, there's no natural hazard concerns identified for this property. As is a standard for Mississippi Valley, there were several erosion control measures recommended, including silt fencing things during construction, no alteration of drainage patterns towards the neighbors, things like that. There is no conservation permit needed for this construction. Mississippi Valley only regulates shoreline and in-water works in this area. So while they have commented, there's no permit required for this construction prior to the issuance of any building permit from the township. Again, there's no increase in living space. It's more of the outside screen porch. People just keep wanting to have dinner without bugs. I don't know. And the construction's not near any existing portions of the septic system. There is no public comments received regarding this application either. Subject to anything noted today, planning staff are recommending that this application is approved as submitted and with the conditions listed in the planning report.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the applicant or their agent in person? Anybody online?
Please use the raise hand feature if you'd like to speak. Seeing none.
In that case, starting over again. Moved by Susan Irwin, seconded by Duncan McGregor, that minor variance application 2025-0042 Rod Milne for concession to Part Lot 8, Part Road Allowance RP 13R19073, Part 2, Charbot Lake, 1058 Antoine Road, Geographic Township of Oso, Township of Central Frontenac, be approved to allow for the construction. I didn't ask the committee if they had any questions or comments. Then I will carry on. Be approved to allow for the construction of a 14.2 square meter or 152.8 square foot addition to an existing dwelling and minimum water body setback of 9 meters or 29.5 feet from the high water mark of Charbot Lake, and that the effect of the application is to permit a variance from section 5.6.2 and 4.26.5A of the zoning bylaw 2011-52 as amended to allow the development. And further, that the Secretary Treasurer shall issue the notice of decision in accordance with the requirements of the Planning Act, including providing the notice of decision to the applicant, any person or public body that made a written request to be notified, and any other person or public body prescribed. All those in favor? Carried. You are welcome, sir. Okay. Moved by Philip Smith, seconded by Dan Meeks, that this meeting be adjourned until November 11th, 2025 at 5 p.m. virtually and in person in the council chambers located at 14216 Road 38, Charlotte Lake, or at the call of the chair. All those in favor? Carried.